Good morning guys, how are you doing? We are in Weybridge today and we've got this room to do. Shall we look at it, shall we? Okay, so I've only seen a video of this. Now, let's have a look at the ceiling up here. It's plaster and lath, and at some point he showed me a picture and somebody had put their foot through. Now, I did suggest that this ceiling was at least overboarded. Remember, I'm just a private plasterer. A plasterer for money. I'll do what you want me to do. So he has decided he's just going to PVA it and scrim it. Okay, so that's what he's done. He's put up all these beads, he's scrimmed everything, and I've advised him to give it a good coat of PVA prior to us getting in here, so it's got a chance to soak in and really stabilise all these really tricky walls. What you're after, the key? They're probably in the other room. So yeah, it's just a reskim, PVA reskim. There's not much to talk about really. The walls are in a little bit of a tricky condition. As you can see, there's a bit of all sorts going on here. I don't know how much straightening out we're going to get. Literally just walked into the job. So, a few bits of awkward bits and pieces left. Yeah, it's just one of those. So I think what we're firstly going to do is get some PVA over everything and liven all that back up, tidy up these cables, and just get cracking on with it. Other than that, we've got some other bits and pieces to show you. Okay, right, you're actually a robot right now and you're following me around. I bought a gimbal. Amazing. That's the computer doing that. Right, so we got given our first freebies and we got given them. I forgot to make his name. I'll probably put it at the end because he sent me some messages on Facebook. Look, it's giving us a t-shirt. So the company is www.easymix.co.uk. Like so. And he's given us an extra large t-shirt. He has given us some easy scrim. Okay, it's the thicker stuff, look. I don't know if they do it in the thinner stuff. Easy Mix again, easy scrim. Like the sound of that because we have had all those outrageous names for all the different scrims like Gladiator Scrim, Monster Scrim, Extreme Scrim. We have had the more formal Plasterer's Grey Scrim, which was just there. But yeah, easy scrim, I'm easy going, sounds good to me. And he has also given us a big packet of half times for bonding. We've got a separate one for bonding, which I'm not too sure why for bonding. There needs to be a separate one. We've got half time for just your regular plaster, 1 sachet per 25 kg bag, and we've got, I don't know, extra time. So we've got the plaster retarder as well. So yeah, there's a selection of bits and pieces in here, so we probably will be getting on and checking out this half time, which I assume is the one that speeds things up. And yeah, we'll use that today and see how it goes. I have used some accelerators before. A company, Storm Additives, we've used their stuff, which came in a pot and you put a scoop of it in. So yeah, I'll check this stuff out and see how this compares to that. So speed up setting times by up to 60 minutes and improve workability. Ideal for plastering small areas. For use with all finished plasters, 1 sachet for every 5.5 litres of water. Approximately 12.5. Also 1 sachet, so that'd be per half a bag. So 2 of those to a bag, I guess. Okay, all right, we'll read those later. So yeah, keep watching, we're going to use that, and we're just going to get that room plastered. Okay, so here's the PVA tub. Look, I've just mixed up a little bit of PVA and I've got the roller there just dripping off. You can see if I zoom in with my new toy, my gimbal by DJI. Okay, so it's a little stabilizing unit. I'll show you probably a little bit later in the video. So first things first, let's get that to lock onto me. Is it locking on? It's locked onto me. So look, Shay, your bad filming is a thing of the past. Look, I can just put it down. Look, it follows me around. Look at that. Are you impressed?
It's a pretty cool gadget.
Yeah. Also got a little microphone on me as well, so I'm sure you guys are going to be beside yourself with excitement, where I can walk around anywhere on the job and you should be able to hear me talking about monkeys or Greek mythology, anything I want to. So as you can see, Matey has done quite a lot of the prep in here, so all we're doing now is just giving it a tight PVA just to liven all this up. Everything is fairly flat, I guess, but it's quite choppy in the sense there's quite a lot of texture to all these ceilings and stuff. Like I say, I did advise the guy to get this reboarded, but he's decided not to. So I'm just gonna not argue with him. He's paying me to do this job. It's his call, so we're just gonna plaster this. Now it's probably gonna be a good idea to knock up our multi-finish, because we're just gonna go straight over this with multi-finish. We're gonna knock it up a little bit stiffer than usual, you know, like we normally do, to be honest with you. It makes the plaster easier to handle and also stronger as well. Some of the old site boys, you know, they knock up the plaster so thin because they're only dealing with meterage, and it's good, you know, just going over straightforward board work. It's not so much of an issue. But when you've got something like this, it is definitely a good idea to mix it up just that little bit stronger. I would be wearing that t-shirt, but there's no heating on at the moment. And although the temperature is up compared to what it has been in the last few days, it's still rather chilly in here. So until we start moving a bit more and warming ourselves up, it's the jacket on. I think we still need a couple of scrims in these internals where the ceiling's meeting. So this ceiling is plaster and lath. That's one of the reasons I did suggest boarding it over, but he's decided not to. Yeah, like I say, so one of the reasons I can talk to you wherever, we've got a little microphone on. We used to have it for the, when we did the cooking videos, which is on the other playlist on the channel called Judy's Happy Food. So if you get tired of plastering videos, go and look at some cooking ones if you want. Impress the missus, get the dinner ready for her. Whoop. See, having on that long pole does improve the speed of applying PVA. Right, that's got to be enough. Are you guys watching me PVA? It's got to be probably about as interesting as watching paint dry. How do I turn this off now? So that should be recording, and that should be getting my voice as well. Right, let's take that off of lock for a second. Right, we've got this PVA'd up, and we can get rid of it now. I like to get all the prep done. You know, it's quite a small room, so we don't want tools around everywhere in here. But as you're PVA in, it's a good idea to take notice of what's going on. And look, we've got things like this going on up here. We've got a nasty, nasty kind of ridge. I'm just getting used to this gimbal. Got a nasty ridge up there, look. I think we're going to try and, this bit up here, bond that out a little bit so it's not so noticeable. So yeah, you're going to have to excuse my filming as well. I'm just getting used to this device. I've got to put the microphone receiver on it. I've got to push it to make sure it's recording, and yeah, it's getting very technical around here. Right, let's turn this off. Okay, it's a little bit of a tricky site here to record on. It's so small. We've got another guy out there making loads of noise. He wants the radio on and stuff like that. So let's just take a little bit of time just to recap, because I just checked out the video footage I had, and the light was right behind me. It's very difficult to see, lighting issues. So this is the company that sent me the stuff. Look, www.easymix.co.uk. I don't know anything about prices or anything like that, but obviously there's the website, so I'm sure all that information is on here. I've just used a bit of this yellow scrim. It's the first time I've seen yellow scrim. It feels quite strong, it's quite nice, but I can see straight away, as soon as we've opened this up, got this like a bit of a rough cut here, which quite often leads to, if you're an experienced plasterer, I'm sure you will know, these little bits here coming off, okay, and wrapping around your hands, which can be moderately annoying. But one quick, easy remedy to get over that is to take a sharp Stanley knife and just score like so. Maybe a crosshair on there or something, and that just stops that from happening. So easy fix for the easy scrim. Okay, so we are back in the room, and we have knocked up stiff wall finish. Shay's tackling this wall, I'm going to hit this ceiling, and let's have a bit of a closer look up here what was going on. Now I've just chipped this off, and this turns out to be a brick, so I'm going to try and dub this little area out with the 20x5 carbon steel trowel, and the extra length allows you to get things like this. You know, a smaller trowel, you're going to run with the contours a little bit more, but we can see the state of the ceiling, so it is a little bit more difficult using a large trowel, but it's going to help us straighten things out if you persevere with it. And then when you come to doing the laydown, it's going to be a lot easier because you used a big trowel. Now the other thing is, the guy, look here, has put the beads up for me, and he's used some kind of no nails, or it's something, it's a bit rubbery, which is fine, but you might need to be careful that it doesn't intrude over the line of the actual bead, because if that comes through, because it's rubbery, it will compress and then stick out through the plaster, and that can be quite annoying. So it's a good idea just to double check that all that sort of stuff is well behind and scraped back. Right, let's get on and do some plastering, shall we? Okay, so we knocked up a couple of bags, and we managed to use up every last little bit of it. And what we've done is put the ceiling on. I've not flattened this in, I've just used the 20. And we've taken out a load of these awkward little bits and pieces to get them going and out the way. Also up here, I don't know if you noticed from the original video, but there was no little bead just on this little inch return, so we've kind of had to make those corners up by hand. Let's have a look. So we just have to do the best we can with that. This little corner here is just pure plaster, so it's just coming down, letting it bleed over, and then just getting the toe of the trowel and just popping that off square there. And we've managed to pick up this little awkward bit above the door. Shay's taken this wall, and we've also got these reveals on. All needing straightening up. It was all over the place, as you can see from before we were plastering. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump back onto the ceiling, start flattening this stuff in. I was keeping an eye on the PVA to give us an indication of how fast the walls are going. This is still wet on here, so this must have some sort of washable paint on it, whereas this wall has picked up and pulled in quite a lot quicker with the PVA. So I would be interested in getting that wall on as early as possible really, but I can't because it's such a fiddly little bit up there to take out. I can't really get that all at the same time. I'm going to have to let these pick up, so I think it's probably, might be an opportunity to use some that fast-set stuff right at the end of the day. So I'm going to flatten this in and then we'll decide whether to push on. So I think the next wall that's probably best is this wall here to take out. Again, which is awkward and all over the place. Let's have a quick look at it with my trowel. So, look, got all lumps and bumps in it, look. It's probably better if you can see that way. We're going to try and straighten these up a little bit. I looked and I thought, oh, that's handy because that's behind there. But then by the time we get over to the other side, oh, it's actually in front. Oh, what's going on there? So I think we're just going to have to try and keep this as tidy as possible. It kind of disappears at this point here. I can suggest to maybe actually get some kind of architrave around there to try and tidy that up in this kitchen. So yeah, like I say, next thing is to just jump up here and start flattening this out with a 20 by 5. Okay, so we're just giving that a nice flattening and it's looking a lot more agreeable. So you can see here, apparently this used to be in an extra room. So that's the old ceiling, the lowest point of it on that 20, and it's just, you see the old plaster there, just grinning through. So when we put our second coat over, we're going to take all this out, but this first coat is going to be flush with that. Okay, so everything is kind of like hanging as I thought it might do. It's picking up a bit. We'll probably get a way of laying this down. This wall here, which was over, this had been redone at some point before, it was over grey plaster, and that's all it was, and it's pulling in quite quick. So I've kind of given it 2 coats with the same gauge of plaster, so I'm thinking I might take a sponge follow to that, liven that surface up, and just get that in really quickly in front of everything else, and just, we can forget about that, we really just snipe that little wall off and get that done out the way. I think we've probably got enough time to knock up, get this wall on, and then let this ceiling pick up a little bit and let it go a little bit further so it holds itself together in some of the thick areas because it's a little bit puddingy in some areas. So I think we're going to knock up, just get this one little wall on. So this will just be just behind the rest of the set. Then we'll use the dirty water in there that's left in there to put this wall on. And then the dirty water from that we'll probably knock up and we'll lay everything down, possibly including that, I'm not too sure yet. And that will just give us a really, really easy set to finish the day off really. So we've got 2 hits in here. We've got the first one on, broken the back of it. Yeah, it's just, you know, you kind of do make it up as you go along, but you know, you just keep pushing forward. And I do find it is beneficial if you do break your gauges up into smaller bits until you get the feel of the room, especially in something like this. When it's cold, it's the suction's all over the place. If it was just straightforward plasterboard, then you know exactly what you're doing. You'll knock up a couple of bags, get that on, probably flatten it in, knock up a bag, lay it all down, and then push on. You know what you're doing, you know. But in here, yeah, just play on the side of caution, break it out into smaller bits rather than knocking up so much. And you have to chase it around, you know. If you knock up little bits at a time, you can put this on, you can put that, put this on, and then as you move around the room, you're kind of like keeping in time with it, rather than starting trying to flatten in where it's really wet, and then by the end of you got to the gauge, it's starting to go off on you, you know. So yeah, just try and be in balance and in the flow with the way that the room's going off. Okay, so you find us here at a point where we have laid the ceiling down and we've laid all the reveals. This has been laid down. We have sponged that in because it was putting in really quick, so it just needs a bit of a trowel up now. This has been laid down. This has just had 1 coat over it just at the moment. Now, again, these walls are all over the place, okay? So it's really working well to have these larger trowels in here straightening things up, because look, you can see here, look, there's a massive ridge there. I guess that's where an old work surface must have come and somebody must have scooped around it, I don't know. But look, you can see here, there's virtually no depth on it. Come down to this, that's still no depth there. Come down to here, and look, we're in about bloody 10 mil, you know what I mean? So, could really have dubbed all this out with a bit of bonding or something beforehand, but we haven't had the luxury of having any bonding on this job when we turned up to do the thing. So we're doing it all with multi-finish. So one little way of getting around things like this is let it pick up a bit, just like you're doing an Arctic ceiling. Let it hold itself together, because we can see, look, there's some sagginess here. You can be troweling that, that's never going to disappear. So we need that to go quite a bit, maybe a couple of flattens, and then get it all nice and regulated, and then you can get a nice laying down tight coat over the top of the whole thing. Okay, so let's have a little look at where we are now. So the ceiling has seen a wet brush, and so is this wall and all this stuff. We've knocked up with the same gear and got this wall laid down, but it's not been flattened in very well. And like I say earlier, as you noticed, it's all over the place. Really, really is quite bad. I had a little bit left over, so I dubbed out these reveals around the window, as you can see, and there was a really nasty ridge coming in like this, doing this V shape with a nasty crack on it. So I've taken some time, because I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of work surface going through here. I haven't seen the plan of the kitchen, but I want to kind of straighten this up as best we can. But you know, you can't perform miracles here with things like this. It's as bad as this. It's kind of like you need to go right back to the brickwork and refloat everything if you want to have everything nice and straight. I mean, it is really quite contoured. Now, what I'm probably going to do is get back on the ceiling in an effort to get this ceiling pushing on, because not only is it all over the place, it is hanging around in here quite a long time. Like I say, we've used PVA, and PVA kind of allows a little bit of suction rather than SBR, which kills the suction. But it's almost like the whole place has been SBR. This PVA is still wet from the very first thing we put on this morning. So what I'm probably going to do on the ceiling, probably on these walls, this is probably a bit too early for what I'm about to do, because we've still got quite a lot of trowel marks in it. So I'm going to stick with the carbon steel larger trowel in an effort to try and flatten that out. Maybe give it 1 or 2 wet trowels, but because the swirl is so bad, so it's like the sea, yeah? So with the sea, you've got the swirl, which is the gradual up and down motion of the sea, and then you've got the chop on the surface of all that. So you can have like no chop and, you know, massive swell, or you can have no swell but loads of chop. So because we've got so much swirl going on in here, I think I'm probably going to drop down to the stainless steel flexi trowels sooner rather than later on this ceiling. And you know, we've got the lines out of it, but we're going to have to roll with that swirl a little bit. I think there's only so much you can do, so we're going to make life a little bit easier on ourselves, and switch to the flexi trowels a bit sooner. Like you can see up there, look, the lines are pretty much gone. I'm quite happy we've got things generally flat as we can. So that is actually going to take, it is going to take, so noisy in there, it's going to take a stainless, but that's not in a condition to take a stainless. Right, let's get on with that. Okay, so there you go, Shay. This wall is done, that's almost done. The ceiling isn't quite done, it's hanging around a little bit. Didn't remember this wall here, it was kind of like our linking gauge, it's a little bit behind the ceiling, but the time's getting on and we just want to get this done, get out of here. So we've knocked up some stiff gear and we're going to get the last wall on and this window wall. So what's going to happen is the whole room is going to be live at one point, because the ceiling still needs a bit of attention and everything else. So yeah, it's quite a nasty little job, to be honest with you. The ceilings are quite tall. The tap's in here, and he's put it on one of these flexis, look, with a little handle down here, you can see it, so it keeps dripping out water all day, and we're treading around in it. The temperature's cold. Let's just get this done and get out of here. It's quite a journey for us, Weybridge. Okay, so there we go. These walls just need one little final quickly, and they're done. This side here and this side here. So there we are. Compared to what it looked like this morning, it's much more pleasant environment to cook your dinner in once they get the kitchen in. So there we go. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Yeah, do like and subscribe, and also if you want to connect with us a little bit more, there's the Facebook group called Plaster Master Smurf 74, which is a free group for anybody to join. Right, yeah, it's been a bit funny one on this video. Not for beginners. Yeah, you really want to be tackling this. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a look at the rest of the playlist if you are looking for something which is more suited to beginners, because there's loads on there. The clue is plastering for beginners in the title of the video. So yeah, have a look there.